Hi and welcome back. We're doing yet another video where we randomly select a page from maintenance and reliability best practices and deliver a tip based on whatever content happens to be on that page. So if you happen to be enjoying this series of videos, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and follow us and sign up for our newsletter and do all the wonderful things that help us know that we should be delivering similar content. So let's go to our random number generator and see what we've got going on here. Let's spin our wheel and see what number pops up. And then based on that number, we shall deliver a tip of the day. Number 26, this is going to be really early in the book. Let's see what's on page 26. And we'll deliver our tip of the day. Page 26. Oof. So page 26 is actually a reference section. So we are going to go one page over. There are self-assessments, a summary of chapter 1. So this is just a summary of chapter 1, which defines what a best practice is and the application of a best practice. Good topic. So we have a book called Maintenance and Reliability Best Practices, written by Ramesh. And while the book is titled that, it's very early in the book that Ramesh writes an explanation of what best practices are. And best practices being the one best way to do something that is generally accepted in industry. Now, within your plant, those things get adopted, and there are best practices in your plant, the one best way, an acceptable way to execute something. This does not mean that everything written in this book, as written in this book, is the only way to do something within your plant. And that's not the idea behind the book. The idea behind the book is to give you a general idea of what the acceptable best practices are, so that you can then adopt them within your plant and create your own best practice that works best for you and your company. So this book is specifically written in that context and mentions that very early in the book. And so I think the tip of today will be to be mindful of best practice, even though we write the book. Be mindful of the fact that you still have to adopt a best practice. It has to be accepted within your company and your company's culture. And you have to continually try to improve even the ones that are currently considered a best practice. That's how innovation happens and new best practices happen. And you and your company could be on the verge of creating the next best practice that ends up in a book just like this. So keep in mind that best practice is for you to understand, to educate yourself, and to figure out how best to adopt and implement within your plant. And in your plant, there will be methods or means of adopting these practices that work best for you and your company that become your internal best practice. It is not meant to be the only method of doing something. That's not the intention of the book, never has been the intention of the book. And the term best practice means that it's a challenge, realistically. It's a challenge for you to take what's in this book and figure out how best to adopt and implement within your plant and create new best practices so we can update to the 4th edition. All right, today's tip of the day: implement best practices wisely, make them best practices within your plant, and challenge them and continually innovate and make new ones.